Hello, my name is Adam McKinney. I'm the co-director of DNAWORKS, which is an arts and service organization committed to healing through the arts and dialogue. I'm also an assistant professor of dance in the School for Classical and Contemporary Dance at Texas Christian University, and I'm the president of Tarrant County Coalition for Peace and Justice, a local social justice organization based here in Fort Worth. I've been asked by my friend and colleague Susan Austin that I offer my thoughts about the intersection of my faith and my work as an artist and as a social justice advocate. I'm a middle-class, 44-year-old Black, Native, gay, Midwestern, white Jew who is a husband, son, brother, uncle, and cousin. My overarching artistic goal is to create dance from a place of questioning inaccurate, oppressive historical perspectives and of others and of ourselves, all the while subverting notions of where dance happens and who gets to do it. I'm inspired by a quote from the Pirkei Avot, that is the ethics of the fathers, sometimes called the sayings of the fathers. It's a collection of books and writings from the Jewish Talmudic sages. This one is from Rabbi Tarfon, who wrote, "You are not required to finish your work, yet neither are you permitted to desist from it." I work toward what I call the aesthetics of liberation, that is, offering new possibilities of creating and artfully repairing a just world. In Judaism, we have a value of what's called tikkun olam, that is, world reparation or recovery of the world. And by the world, I believe the sages may have meant us, that our goal is to move in the direction of each other, our greatest resource, to repair our world and to recover each other. My academic and artistic work reimagine memory, time, and public and private spaces by focusing on community connections. My mission is to use the arts to stimulate dialogue about the issues that are important to our communities. And in my opinion, this is the place from which lasting change can grow. Currently, this work is manifesting in using the arts to remember Fort Worth history as it pertains to our connections to racial terror violence. I'd like to share with you our DNAWORKS project called Fred Rouse Memorial Project. Mr. Fred Rouse was lynched in Fort Worth, Texas on December 11th, 1921. He was a non-union strike breaker and worked for Swift and Company in the Fort Worth stockyards. As he left work on December 6th at 4:30 p.m. in 1921, he was accosted and bullied and stabbed and left for dead as he walked through a throng of Union picketers. He was taken to City and County Hospital, the former City and County Hospital at 4th and Jones Street here in Fort Worth, and was kidnapped from the Negro basement ward on Sunday, December 11th, 1921 at approximately 11 o'clock. And he was hanged from a tree at the corner of Northeast 12th Street and Samuels Avenue at approximately 11:30 p.m. on Sunday, December 11th, 1921. There's a reason why we struggle with racial issues in Fort Worth. It is not by chance, and in fact, it is by design. Fort Worth had the largest, or one of the largest, Ku Klux Klan memberships in the United States in the 1920s. Racism is embedded in our cultural memory as Fort Worthians. It is my opinion that, like Rabbi Tarfon, it is our responsibility to work toward liberation and the liberation of all people. And we do this at DNAWORKS in one particular way, and that is in Fred Rouse Memorial Project that has two major projects, the first of which is called Fort Worth Lynching Tour, honoring the memory of Mr. Fred Rouse, and the second of which is called Transform 1012 North Main Street. Fort Worth Lynching Tour, honoring the memory of Mr. Fred Rouse, is a car tour and a bike tour to the traumatic sites associated with the lynching of Mr. Fred Rouse. We do this work to remember. We do this work to take risks in moving forward in the direction of liberation together. And we do this work not to re-traumatize, because that is not where healing happens, but we do this work in retrograde, that is backwards, hopes of undoing trauma. And so our trajectory in Fort Worth Lynching Tour, honoring the memory of Mr. Fred Rouse, is performed in reverse. We start at the most recent event first and move back in time. We premiered Fort Worth Lynching Tour, honoring the memory of Mr. Fred Rouse in December 2020 in honor of the 99th anniversary of the lynching of Mr. Fred Rouse. We will offer Fort Worth Lynching Tour, honoring the memory of Mr. Fred Rouse again this spring in March, April, and May. And we welcome you to participate in the socially distant bike tour and car tour. You can learn more about the project by going to DNAWORKS.org/FWLT. And again, we welcome you to participate in this important work around memorial activism. The second project, Transform 1012 North Main Street, is a project of DNAWORKS in collaboration with 6 other local organizations to acquire Fort Worth's former Ku Klux Klan auditorium that was built in 1924 and 1925, and to transform that building into a center and museum for the arts and community healing to be named after Mr. Fred Rouse. Our goal is not to idolize history. In fact, our goal is to do the opposite. It is to put attention on history and to change our present and our future. I envision us like the West African Adinkra symbol, the Sankofa. It's a bird who is facing forward but turning back and putting an egg on its back. Sankofa means go back and get it. Go back and get history, go back and get each other, go back and tell the truth so that we can move forward together. We welcome you to be a part of this project around memorial activism and the transformation of our racist histories by connecting with DNAWORKS, by going to DNAWORKS.org. You can also go to the Transform 1012 North Main Street website, which is transform1012.org. Thank you, Susan Austin, for ensuring that I participate in today's program. And I wish you well, shalom, and Shavua Tov.